Hello, everyone. This is Jim Okrzinski. So I thought the best way to clarify the informal report assignment would be to produce this video explaining the assignment. I've made a few modifications, and also I've gone in and I've modified the example a bit. Obviously, the formal report caused some confusion, and it's understandable. So what I would like to do is hopefully with this video be able to communicate not only the assignment in a little clearer language, but also the example. I did manage to revise it quite a bit in order to adapt the formal report into our assignment and informal report. So hopefully it'll make sense to everyone. So let's go back to our chapter 9 discussions and our work on the textbook there. We've pretty much determined that the type of report for your informal career report would be an investigative report in memo format. So the actual chapter talked about how informal reports really include an introduction, a body, and conclusion and recommendation. So I've adjusted the assignment here to basically allow for the introduction as agreed upon here. Now your body is going to be your bulk of your information, right? So there's going to be background, pay scale or earnings, qualifications. I list work environment or conditions depending upon your particular career choices. Maybe geographic expectations, like where are the jobs geographically around the country or around the world, really. So your job outlook, short and long term, what's the percentage of growth, or is there a decline? And then importantly, then I'm looking for potential employers. And the reason why I want you to identify specific employers, like specific corporations, is because our next series of assignments are going to be writing a resume, cover letters, and follow-up to those specific employers that you identify in the informal report here. And then quite naturally is going to be the conclusions and recommendations section there as you wrap up that informal report. So if we were to go to the textbook, remember it's investigative reports. The memo structure is clear, right? A memo structure here, to, from, date, subject, that's the memo structure. Here is just an example in the textbook from Green Department Stores. I believe it's, what diagram is this? There it is, figure 9.4 is an investigative report, just to show you how a memo structure and your report should be organized and really what the formatting would look like on that. So let me get back here. So that would be our particular format. Everybody's doing some research for discussion board number 4. I'm looking at some sources. Remember, I have all the links here to help you discover and research the information that you need for this informal report. Here are the sections. Now I've adapted, let me say this. I've adapted the formal report into the informal structure. I've created some sections here so it makes a little bit more sense. And I'll try to run through this particular example here. All right, so you have your introduction here as explaining the purpose of the report. This could be developed quite a bit more about what your particular report is trying to do. This particular individual wrote about being a computer programmer, and also, what was the next one? It was a web developer. So the idea here is that we have two distinct career paths. This particular student example provided some background information here. Also earnings and a graph here of earnings. The qualifications that would be required. Some work environment is what I've adjusted this to. Now here we see geographic locations or expectations is required. Let me move that up a little bit. Is required here, so you have to complete this portion. It's required. Please complete this section. job outlook based upon, I think, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then you have another chart here. Now, whether you use visuals or not, I'm not really worried about it. If you have something like this that you can use and you can integrate it and text wrap it accordingly, I'll go with it. I don't want these to dominate. They must be shaped, sized, and they must be integrated or text wrapped. If you look here, this is what's called text wrap in Google Docs. There's a text wrapping feature in Word. If you're writing in Word, you should be familiar with that. And then also here is potential employers. Please complete 2 or 3 employers here, because this section was not a part of that original assignment. I'm kind of adapting the formal report activity. So this needs to be completed and identified by you. Then moving on, once again, to the web developers. All right, so the web developers here, and same thing, background, earnings, what do we call it up here? Background, earnings, okay, kind of earnings, potential income, whatever you want to name that. Qualifications again, work environment, okay, geographic locations. This is required, once again, for you to complete. All right, so you need to complete this particular section here. Job outlook, could be a little bit more developed. Potential employers, once again, for the web developer's job. And then here is the conclusion and recommendation section. So that was basically there. The bibliography is here, formatted probably pretty close to APA guidelines. And for example, you have all the moving parts here. So let's go back. We had the background, pay scale, earnings, qualifications, work environment, geographic expectations, once again, needed to be completed and added, job outlook, potential employers, conclusions, and recommendations. So my thinking here is that this is done probably a really, this is about, as far as content is concerned, is probably maybe this might be a C or a B type paper, depending upon how well these other sections that are missing, like geographic locations and potential employers, are completed. If they're done, it could be, maybe a mid to high B paper, and this is just giving you my overall assessment here. I'm looking for a lot of specifics. The more specific information that you can achieve in this particular report, the better it is for you moving forward. So let me scroll back up toward the top here. Remember, here is in memo format. Let's see if we can move this around a little bit. Here, remove some space, tighten that up a little bit. Here we go. All right, so here we have the format of what a memo style. As you notice, this is basically almost single space, block style, no first line indent, conclusions, recommendations, all the parts are here. So that being said, remember, this is for the informal report. Read the assignment again. Also, let me get into our course folder here. Once again, you have to upload your GDoc link from the your report into this course folder and then into Blackboard, and I'll demonstrate that in class. All right. So if you have any questions, you can bring me up in class. You can watch this video numerous times and feel comfortable about exactly what it is you're doing for this formal report. All right. So good luck.